All right, let's
think so.
move on. Let's
All
go to the
right.
MCU news. Now, this is MCU Disney Investor Day news. Go.
So WandaVision, we got a new trailer and the premiere date of January 15th.
Right?
The trailer looks great. It looks like it's going to be a really fun, um, interesting series. So the
Fun,
new,
but also dark looking.
a little bit dark, yeah,
Like like the trailer, Brock, like has her like doing the black and white stuff, and like it's being funny. It also shows you like her being pregnant and Vision and her hugging her belly, and there's like a crib. Like, so maybe her kids are gonna get introduced, and then like they show you what Monica Rambeau come over to her house dressed in
yeah,
like 70s, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And then she like twitches out and is like, "I don't know," like freaks out. Like, it was really weird and like dark there for a minute, back to being fake happy, and like it's gonna be a trippy show.
yeah.
Hmm.
I think
Um,
it's something that she, wherever she's at. Do you think it's got to take place post Endgame, because they show you the
Yeah.
Infinity Stone blowing up in like Vision's head and all
Yeah.
that? Maybe they have her in like some kind of holding cell somewhere and she's gone nuts.
I think, yeah, I think she's at that Shield base in upstate New York.
Yeah,
Because there's one of those scenes where towards the end of the trailer where they showed kind of like a dome flickering in and out, and it looked like that Shield thing, the building in the background.
yeah, I think so too.
So moving on, Feige confirmed that Wanda will premiere in, or not premiere, will be in Doctor Strange 2, and that Doctor Strange 2 connects directly to WandaVision.
Good.
Also, she is currently in London filming Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
So they've already started filming on that.
Good.
They also announced that the actress that they picked for Miss Marvel will also be in Doctor Strange 2.
Good.
So that's where I think she's going to get her premiere. She'll be in. You'll see her there before we see her on her own show.
Good. Good. Introduce her.
Uh,
Get some hype around her. Good. It's a good
yep.
move. Oh yeah.
Then Feige, which we already knew this, but Feige confirmed Doctor Strange will also connect directly to the new Spider-Man 3, which kind of leads to all that news we just talked about with all the different Spider-Men and everything. It kind of gives some weight to those
Right.
those rumors. We got a new trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is coming in March.
Oh my God, it looks great.
The trailer is so amazing.
It just looks like a Captain America movie without Captain America in it. I mean,
Yeah.
those two are awesome. It looks like so much. It's like we're just getting three 2-hour movies based around these guys. I mean, it's really a crazy thing. Like, instead of having to wait for like 3 movies, you're basically going to get 3 movies here. It's nuts because it all looks movie quality, and it all looks so much. Falcon was doing such amazing things. Like, they're dropping him out of planes. He's flying in and out of planes under a truck. I mean, just no shield references in it. No throwing the shield around or anything like that. But just unbelievable action. I think it's gonna be great. Those two are just great. I can't say the word great enough. How much I love Falcon and Winter Soldier together. It makes me miss Cap though.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling that you'll be twisted on this one a little bit. You'll love the show, but you'll want to see Steve.
Yeah, and at the end, Falcon's gonna put the Cap gear on, which I'm fine. He's gonna debut that suit.
Yep.
Just really starting to gear towards that Avengers run, Brock, from a few years ago, where Falcon Cap was the leader, and then you had Ms. Marvel on the team, and Miles, and especially with the news lower down of who will be coming into the universe here now. It's really building towards that, what I call a subpar Avengers team. But
the subpar Avengers. They're not the mighty Avengers.
So we got an update on Black Widow. It will be hitting theaters, not a dual stream release like WB is doing. And that comes out May 7th.
I think you're allowed to hold on to a movie when you're making $80 billion a month. I think they can hold on to Black Widow for as long as they want.
Yeah, pretty much. We got a trailer for the Loki show, which was described as a crime thriller, and to me looked almost like a time cop show.
Not what I was expecting for this show at all.
No.
What's his name? From Wedding Crashers is in this show.
Owen Wilson. And he almost, do we have a character for him yet? Because he almost looked like Howard Stark.
No, it was different. Brock, or what was this company's name? TVR or something like that, Justin?
Yeah.
Brock, do you know what TVR is in the Marvel Universe?
No.
So
the
premise of it is like Loki wakes up after like disappearing, and let me see if I can get who's TVR.
It picks up right from where he's
grabs the Tesseract, grabs the Tesseract and goes away. And then like Owen Wilson says, has him, and they're going in some elevator, like they're gonna kill him, and then all of a sudden he's just time jumping in like different times, like fighting it. It's almost like Legends of Tomorrow, but starring Loki, just showing up in like the future, ancient times, doing all this stuff for this organization that Owen Wilson says operates a little differently outside of time. So it's all time-based related, time and
you
space.
think it's going to be the Exiles?
I don't know. Maybe. It didn't say. Like, the Loki logo changes to all these different, like, time frames and...
I got something. Sorry. So apparently he is playing... the character's name is Justice Peace. And he is a time-hopping mercenary hired by the Time Variance Authority.
Okay.
And the Temporal Law Enforcement Department. So it's Marvel's versions of Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, basically. God, I hate time travel.
It's going to be all over the place now, thanks to Infinity War.
Yeah, and again, the trailer for it, Loki looks great, obviously, in it, and doing all these cool things. I'm sure they'll have a shit ton of cameos in this show as well, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he specifically called out Thor and Heimdall, so I'm guessing we'll probably get to see quick cameos from them.
You can do any character that's ever died. You can put into this Loki show. Yeah. You can go back and you can bring Robert Downey Jr. back for an episode. You can go back and mess with him like before he's Iron Man, or while he's in the middle of stuff, and go back and see Captain America in the World War II days. When you do a time show, you have the whole Rolodex of characters at your beck and call. You can do whatever you want. Nothing matters. There's no rules to writing when you do a time show like this. You want Peggy Carter to be in it? Sure, we're going to go back to the 30s and 40s. You want Cap? You want this? You want that guy? Whoever you want. Oh, they're not around yet? We'll do a future episode. Where Wolverine, the X-Men are around. They're going to be in it. So the actor's good. I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable.
We also got a trailer for the upcoming What If animated series, and that looks really good too.
Watch that. And I watched that.
I don't know. But obviously it's going to be animated. It showed Peggy Carter as basically as Captain America. There was Zombie Captain America. It looked like Yondu picking up maybe a young Black Panther instead of Star-Lord. What else? There were what else?
That's interesting.
The Watcher is going to be like the primary narrator for the show, but Nick Fury is going to be an animated version of Nick Fury is going to be in it. Almost all of the actors that played the live action characters will voice their animated character. But yeah, it looked great.
The animation, I'm watching it now, very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, very almost like stop motion comic book animation is what it looks like. When you watch like a trailer for like a comic book, how they put those together?
Yeah, they used to do those. Marvel used to put out DVDs they called them motion comics.
Yeah, it almost looks like motion comic is what it looks like. Yeah. Who is this playing? What's the what if about Doctor Strange?
That one I don't know. It looks like he's fighting a.
But it doesn't look like Doctor Strange. It looks like someone else.
Well, I thought it looked like a twin version of him, but
yeah, I see that they arrive on Wakanda and take Panther. Yondu takes him. Yeah, this is Peggy Carter as Captain America. That's interesting, you know. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, they got a lot of cool stuff. What's next?
So Shang-Chi has finished its filming in Australia.
All right.
So hopefully they'll be doing the final post-production on that, and I think that's scheduled for July next year. We got, Captain Marvel.
I thought I saw a rumor for Shang-Chi that they announced Swordsman might be in it. Did you see that?
That's actually a later update that they didn't even talk about on this. We got there was a little bit of Hawkeye news. I blew some
news earlier.
No, that's okay. So the actor Tony Dalton is going to be playing Jack DeCane, Swordsman, in the upcoming Hawkeye show, and they're saying that that it'll kind of tie the Hawkeye show into Shang-Chi because I guess Swordsman has a big connection with the Mandarin.
All right, yeah, I like Swordsman. He's an Avenger we haven't seen yet.
Yep. It sounds to me though like, from what I read, I guess he kind of goes back and forth because the first time he tried out for the Avengers, they said no, and so he kind of went and worked for the Mandarin for a little while.
Okay.
So I have a feeling in Hawkeye he's probably going to be an antagonist in the Hawkeye show.
All right. Remember the Heroes Reborn version of Swordsman, bro?
Is that where he had the hilt of his sword was wrapped in his dead sister's skin or something like that?
I don't remember that, but I just remember that it was like it was
what
very like
that.
I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Yeah.
Was that Swordsman?
Swordsman in there had like all kind of weapons. He was like their Hawkeye kind of, I think.
Okay.
You remember in the regular Continuum, he had like that weird purple outfit on.
Yeah, with the mohawk thing.
Yeah.
The mohawk helmet.
Yeah, it was different. All right, what do we got next?
Captain Marvel 2 is underway. Eternals is pretty much done and almost ready for release. We got some She-Hulk information that Tim Roth will be coming back as Abomination, and
Yes.
Mark Ruffalo is definitely going to make an appearance.
Love it.
Abomination
will be cool to watch She-Hulk and them fight him. That'll be cool.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll actually have Mark Ruffalo Hulk out or be the smart Hulk, and they'll both fight him. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you only saw him at the beginning showing the blood transfusion.
Yeah.
That could be.
You could always bring him back for a big battle at the end.
Yeah, but I don't see him being a big focal point of it.
Well, he doesn't need to. You need to focus more on her.
Right, because he's already established.
Yeah. I want to see some more Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really see much Hulk in the last two movies.
No.
Dumbed down version of him.
Yeah. We got some Moon Knight news that it's going to be an action-adventure Indiana Jones type story with an Egyptian backdrop. But they said that he's going to have his whole associative identity disorder thing, dissociative identity disorder. And so it's going to be a number of different characters that Oscar Isaacs is going to play as part of being Moon Knight.
I like that. I liked it recently with Marvel in the Avengers comic book. They did a thing with Moon Knight where his like deity, what's it called, Kanosh or Kanosh, however you say it, the fist of Kenoshu or whatever, instructed him to take down all the Avengers and take all their like abilities and stuff, and Moon Knight took out all the Avengers. Tell me that's not like a trying to hype them for a TV show that's coming out, for new readers and stuff. He was able to control Thor's hammer. He was, he did all these things and beat everybody. I like Moon Knight. Unlike Ken, who's an idiot, I'm excited for Moon Knight.
Poor Ken.
They also announced we're getting a Secret Invasion live-action Disney Plus show.
That'll be cool.
Looks like it's starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and Ben Mendelsohn will be back as Talos. And it's going to talk about how like the Skrulls have inserted themselves into all levels of our society.
I like this, but I worry about this. I worry it's going to be a dumbed-down version of Secret Invasion, which Secret Invasion was such a cool, mega, huge comic book moment, and this is just going to star Nick Fury and Talos and just be like secret espionage stuff, where instead of like the Skrulls when they took over, Hank Pym and major players where they instituted themselves and battled, it's going to be like more low-key as it's just a Disney Plus show, you know?
My thought is the show may be that, but I think it'll set up Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, maybe. Or Captain Marvel 2 sets it up.
Yeah, it depends on the order. I don't know when they're coming out.
Depending on the order.
Because the Skrulls are good guys in the MCU.
Yeah.
So I don't know, unless the Skrulls that are the good guys, like Talos and that, there's always a bad sector of them, or they're the good ones out of all the rest of them are bad, and they should never make the Skrulls good. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now Captain Marvel 2 is slated for July 2022. And Secret Invasion, it just says coming. Doesn't say when. But I would be surprised if they could get this series out before 2022 with everything else. So yeah, you're right. Maybe her movie will set this show up.
I think
just the bad Skrulls and stuff.
Yeah, the bad villain, Super Skrull. All right. If anything, if Secret Invasion's never going to be the plot point like the Infinity Saga was, which was a 20-movie plot point, maybe we get, if they do 7 episodes of it or 8, it's like 4 2-hour movies that would wrap up all of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a way to. It is an interesting way to throw a lot of these in now without having to invest in a huge movie release.
Because that was a really big deal.
Yeah, it was.
It was a Thanos level kind of thing, almost.
It was huge. Right in the mix of when you had Bucky, Cap, and a lot of other new things going on, and introduced Fury and his secret defenders or whatever they were called.
And you had the Dark Avengers spun out of that.
So much shit spun out of it. It was really major Marvel news for a long time. All right, what do we got next?
We have an Ironheart Disney Plus series coming, and they have cast and actress who will play her. We also have Armor Wars, which will be...
Wait, you didn't let me bitch about Ironheart. You skipped right over it.
I paused and you didn't jump in, so I figured you were going to hold your tongue.
What do you think about Ironheart?
I think it's too new of a character. She doesn't have enough history yet to really have much of a show.
It's also a character that flopped in her own comic book. Couldn't keep a comic book going. Didn't do well in the Avengers comic. Was eventually booted out of it, and it just doesn't work. It's not an exciting character. It's oh look, here's a young kid female Iron Man. It's not creative. There's nothing special about it. It's not like she steals Tony's armor, is using Tony's armor. Then Tony was dead, and he was her AI for a while. How's that fit into the MCU universe right now? If anything, use Iron Man's daughter.
Yeah, Morgan Stark.
It's Morgan Stark as Ironheart, but that's not what they're doing here. It just doesn't fit. I don't think people will give two shits about it, and I don't think it'll work.
Because he's already dead in this universe, so who's going to be her mentor?
And who's going to mentor her? Unless it's going to be like Rhodey mentors her. But I don't know. There's so many other characters you can do other than Ironheart. I'd rather
see a Shuri show.
Me too. Yeah.
But I think she's probably gonna end up becoming Black Panther.
Yeah, she'll be Black Panther.
Yep.
Or do a show with the Dora Milaje or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of other characters you can do, but
Mm-hmm.
Marvel with Ironheart.
They're trying. They're trying to get it over, I guess.
We got next Armor Wars.
Armor Wars, which is basically a Don Cheadle War Machine spin-off series. They described it as Tony's worst nightmare comes true when his armors take over. I mean, it almost sounds like Ultron to me. This sounds like a way to almost bring Ultron back.
This will be probably a one-season show to spotlight some War Machine, and I'm fine with it. I like War Machine. I like Don Cheadle.
Yep.
But the Armor Wars comic was cool, though. It was all the bad guys that were, basically Iron Man knockoffs, like Titanium Man and all those guys. And...
Yeah, if they do something like that, or it's all the Iron Man knockoffs, that would be interesting.
Wasn't Whirlwind in Armor Wars?
Let me see.
It's going to get Whirlwind in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was like, so from some of the images, it was like the Beetle was in it, Titanium Man. It was a lot of different, and he had the Red Centurion suit and all that. So I don't know. I don't know how they do it with War, but they'll do it differently. Just like
they just take the names from these comics.
Yeah,
because Age of Ultron was totally different in the comic books.
Yeah, way
Same
different.
With, Infinity War too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just Iron Man love is all it is. It's Stark Tech. Everything is Stark Tech. Hey, we got to do Stark Tech thing and go all on that. That's all it is. But like I said, Cheadle's good. I mean, Don Cheadle's great. So I don't mind seeing him get a little. He ain't gonna get his own movie, so this way he'll get he'll get some love in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that will be written and directed by James Gunn, and it's actually going to be filmed while they're filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and will release the holiday season prior to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So my guess is there will be a little bit of setup and a little bit of teasing for what's going to happen in Guardians 3.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a Disney Plus exclusive as well. They announced Thor: Love and Thunder. We were speculating for a while about who Christian Bale was going to play. They announced he is going to be Gore the God Butcher. Was that on our list? I don't remember.
I think somebody mentioned him.
Yeah, someone mentioned him.
Okay.
He's good. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll do good.
And then they announced
Love and Thunder is shaping up to be an interesting movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's gonna. I don't know what to think of this movie, but it's gonna. I don't know. It's gonna go a couple different ways here.
Do you think now with this Gore the God Butcher character, do you think that something will happen early in the movie? Something will happen to Thor, and that's how.
Yeah.
What's her name is able to take up the hammer.
Yeah. Just like he lost the hammer in the storyline.
He was unworthy.
He was unworthy. Whatever Nick Fury whispered in his ear. Did they ever tell him what Nick Fury whispered in his ear and made him unworthy? And then he dropped the hammer to the moon.
I didn't read that. Well, that was in Fear
itself.
Itself.
Where they were fighting Nick Fury, where Nick Fury was like an assassin working for the Watcher, sitting on the moon and assassinating people that were like the Watcher deemed bad. I forget what the storyline is called, but it's all about like that shit. And then like Thor goes to take him out. And Fury's like, I'll handle Thor with like one word or whatever. And like Thor grabs him, and then Nick Fury just whispers in his ear, and Thor gets stunned. He drops the hammer to the moon and like loses all his power. And it was like Nick said something to him. So I'm sure it'll be along the line of him losing it. But they've done that already in Thor movies, where that's Thor 1, where he wasn't worthy anymore and didn't have the hammer, and then
Ragnarok was like that too.
He lost the hammer in Ragnarok and then realized he didn't need the hammer because the power was in him all along. So I don't know if they're going to do unless they make a new hammer that's just for her. I don't know. It's an odd time for it. It's odd. Because
It'll still be
they're basing it off of Stormbreaker, which, could you imagine Natalie Portman holding Stormbreaker? I mean,
that thing is bigger than she is.
Not true at all. So I don't know. I mean, is he not going to have Stormbreaker anymore? You know, like
there could be another time travel loophole too, where something happened when Cap was trying to put Mjolnir back.
Yeah.
Somehow ends up back in the timeline.
Yeah. Very odd.
They announced Blade will start filming next year, so they're moving forward on that. So that's cool. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp, or the Ant-Man 3 is going to be titled Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and the main villain is going to be Kang the Conqueror.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be kind of hard for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
So that's what Don and I talked about before the show, that obviously he's going to be the big one for the next Avengers movie. Maybe Phase 4 and Phase 5, depending on how big they make him. But yeah,
but Kang has a lot of minions too, and an army. So there's people that Ant-Man and the Wasp, they could come across his army in the quantum realm, attempting to like use the quantum realm to come to our timeline and take over the world, and they're trying to sabotage it or stop it or fight it. They don't necessarily have to battle Kang himself because they would lose. Yeah. But you know,
do you think they'll introduce Bug?
Maybe. It's definitely a much better, interesting plot than the second one.
Yeah,
fighting Ghost, who was lame as shit.
When they should have just been trying to help her.
Yeah, just stop fighting and help her, for Christ's sakes. So, you know, it'll be interesting. I mean, yeah, Kang, awesome. I can't wait to have Kang.
And it was the actor that was rumored that we talked about like 2 months ago on the show. The same actor. Kevin Feige also did a little thing about Chadwick Boseman, and they stated that he will definitely not be recast.
Yeah, nothing we already didn't know.
Exactly. And they are currently working on the script, and that is scheduled for release in July 2022.
Say it. Say it.
Say what?
You know what to say. Who saves this movie?
Michael B. Jordan's going to come.
B. Jordan, baby. Save it. Bring him back. Save the franchise. Save the cheerleaders. Save the world. There you go.
Michael B. Jordan.
All right. And then the last bit of MCU news, the biggest bit of MCU news, director John Watts is on board for the first family, the former Spider-Man director, or not former, the Spider-Man director, for the first family of Marvel, the Fantastic Four.
Nice.
So finally get the announcement. It's official. Unfortunately, no mention of X-Men or mutants anywhere. But we did get the Fantastic Four announcement, so
you got to get up through all this horse shit before they give us the X-Men.
Yeah,
the X-Men, I can kind of see them trying to keep them separated still.
Yeah,
because even in the comics in the 80s and 90s, the X-Men kind of never really interacted with the rest of the universe for
just
a while.
cross here and there.
Mm-hmm. Because it's too big almost.
When they would do a big crossover themselves, they would never incorporate the rest of the Marvel universe into it, except for like Infinity War. They lend a hand and stuff like that.
Yeah, really big things. But I just think it would be. I don't want to sound. It's going to be too unrealistic to have that many powered beings in one universe. And
yeah, well, they could always dumb it down and say that there's not that many mutants so far. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I'm anxious to see how they introduce the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, this is
supposed to be around before all this other stuff.
Yeah, this is big. I hope to God Disney doesn't fuck this up, because this is your last chance with the Fantastic Four. I mean, you got them in the right hands now. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't mess it up again. Don't try to don't gender swap anybody or change anything.
The only thing you got to keep from the original movies is Michael B. Jordan from that other movie.
Well, here's my thing with Michael B. Jordan. If they're going to give me a black Human Torch, then give me a black Sue Storm.
Absolutely. They're siblings.
They're brother and sister. They're not stepbrother and sister or whatever. They're brother and sister. If you're gonna give me one of a different color or race, give me both. Don't give me this horse shit that they gave me in the last movie. You know what I mean? Keep it real. But
did they even bother to try and explain that in the last movie?
No. It was just stupid. It was just dumb.
That's now on Disney Plus, by the way. Anybody wants to watch a terrible...
I watched it again, actually, a couple months ago, just to see how bad it was again, and I was reminded.
It's terrible.
Reed Richards better be smart. He better be in love with Sue. They better be together. I want to see them have kids. I want Ben as his best friend, Johnny as her brother. I mean, stick to what works. Don't give me this horse shit. Don't make Doctor Doom a part of their team that also gets down and gets powers. Like, I don't even want him in the first movie. Don't even give me Doctor Doom in the first movie.
You can name drop Victor Von Doom. You don't need to do anything else.
In the first movie, for all I care, or anybody else, but don't. Well, he was a part of the team and got rock electrical powers. Like, no,
and horse
I don't want
legs.
and horse legs or whatever other shit. I don't want any of this horse shit that you do with Doctor Doom. You know, he's got
to be Reed's rival.
Yes, and he's got to be the dictator of a country. But I'm excited they announced it, so let's see how good they do with it. All right, that was the end of the Marvel
MCU.
stuff.
Yeah. So